Do I need to listen to the track right now? Because I can't even remember what I'm talking about right now, to be honest. I need a messy. Hey guys, welcome to my channel, Monica in Mono, and in this video I will be talking about Molchat Doma's album Floors. This is part 2 of this Molchat Doma trilogy that I'm doing to start off the channel, so go ahead and check out my review of From Our House's Rooftops if you haven't already. But Floors is Molchat Doma's sophomore album, which they released in 2018, only for it to be re-released in North America after signing on to Sacred Bones Records in 2020 due to the album's popularity and reception for appealing to the modern mental state of nihilism with the nostalgia of 80s post-punk and new wave. It was after this that the band's wave of popularity kind of flooded into viral recognition with the track Vessel, which makes sense because the song kind of perfectly encapsulates the band's improvements from their first album and fine-tunes them to their very core. These improvements include better songwriting and arrangement, more refined hooks, better vocal performances, and more thoughtful production choices. One of the best examples of this is actually the track Dance, which follows a more standard post-punk song structure but is still very satisfying due to its cohesion. The track's somber guitar and woeful vocals create a sonic weight that contrasts very well with its fast tempo and repetitious vocal hook, which gives you very direct lyrics, which as someone who cannot dance, I really appreciate, you know? Another example of the band's improved hook writing would be the track Businessmen, which actually includes an intro that could be in like a sci-fi or 80s horror film. The song is defined by its direct synth line and an anthemic chorus with a staccato melody. I just wished that the verses were on the same level as the chorus. They seemed uninspired and a little recycled from the band's previous album. On the third track, Films, the band achieves a very relaxed and danceable beat that is assisted by groovy bass lines and persistent drum fills. We are guided through sections of the song with smooth, high-toned guitar interludes. The vocals range from stoic and belted in the verses to calm and blasé in the choruses. It is one of my favorites on the album for sure, and I love the casual and almost loungy atmosphere this track created. It is a very enjoyable track despite not having a definable quality other than its overall feel, which is also the case for the closing track, Cage, which I understand could be a bit forgettable, but I enjoyed it quite a lot. It is a slow and steady track with a chorus that might come across as a bit anticlimactic, but I think it suits the song in this particular case. The track is carried by its dark but biting guitar tone, which complements its slow and emotive vocals. The track melody is subtle but memorable. It is essentially the song equivalent of a rain cloud that follows you around, and I live for that. The track Waves also accomplishes this similar atmosphere while being one of the band's best accomplishments in songwriting and guitar hooks. The band also uses strategic drum fills to help transition between song sections, which helps keep you engaged because, again, this is a slow song. The track has calming guitars and a passionate vocal performance, especially when Igor gets progressively more dynamic up until the end. It almost makes me wish there was less processing on the vocals, or at least a lot less reverb, since they did come across a little isolated. I just think it would have added depth, although I can understand the way this track is mixed is reflective of the rest of the album. I am also being nitpicky at this point because I loved this track either way. And as I mentioned previously, the track Vessel also demonstrates the band's improved songwriting and guitar hooks. It hits you with a vigorous drum intro that leads you straight to stern and stoic vocals, along with rigid and defensive guitars and speedy hi-hats. The tone of this track then transitions from gloomy to optimistic, which is heightened by an urgent and uplifting synth. We finish the song with a cathartic vocal performance and a simple solo to help you reach a calm ending. It is just one of the most short but cohesive and impactful tracks I've heard in a while. Every element has its place, when it comes, when it leaves. Just a very good modern post-punk song. The opening track at the bottom slightly touches on my critiques for the band's lack of song progression. We do get a bit of a payoff at the end of the track with our first exposure to some belted vocals from Igor. We also get a few other redeeming qualities, such as the cavernous vocals in the verses and a groovy, throbby bass synth, complemented by a bright and fluty synth. The main synth part even reminds me a bit of Depeche Mode's earlier work. Overall, it's a cohesive and danceable track. It's just one of the safer tracks on the album, like a slightly upgraded version of maybe even their first album's opening track, coincidentally. I also hold these mixed feelings for a few other tracks, one of them being Yearning or Melancholy, which is an upbeat track that is mostly defined by its moody guitar work and its supportive bass line. Actually, the bass line that closes off the track, something about it just really reminds me of the organ. Does anyone else remember the organ? Because I remember the organ. This is for that one person who knows the organ. And even though the band adds this glimmering synth to help establish the chorus, it's just not enough to make up for the fact that it's just overall anticlimactic. The track completely plateaus for me and just feels overall very unfinished. This is the same issue that I had with Forecast, which felt like a fast-paced and slightly upscale version of something from their previous album, but with just more eccentric percussion swapped in there. So I do feel like the band was aware of its previous shortcomings and has come forth with a project that proves that. Even the tracks that just didn't hit the same mark as the majority of the album had some enjoyable attributes that ranged from more effective bass lines, punchier beats, and better guitar tones and guitar parts. However, it doesn't completely make up for the slight dip towards the middle of the album due to vocal melodies and performances that just don't progress the tracks, like in Yearning and Melancholy and Forecast. However, the songs where the band ventures away the most pay off extremely well. This is proven on Waves and Films. So I'm going to give this album a 7 out of 10. I want to thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and subscribe to my channel where I will continue to be posting music and album reviews, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Contacts are dry. I hate this. What the fuck am I trying to say here? What did I type? Like, I feel like when I'm typing this shit up, I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. And then when I actually say it in the camera, it's like, what the fuck am I saying?